Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, kind of a lazy Sunday evening into Monday morning, so it's actually a holiday Monday here in Canada. So, because of that, I have a little bit of time to record. Very, very late, but we're going to keep the video short and sweet. So, there's no real pickup video this week, only because there really wasn't a lot in the way of pickups. I did have one pickup. Tops actually came through and delivered me, so I'll put it up here. So, hopefully you can see that without too much glare. There we go. That should be all right. So you got the Topps Now Vladimir Guerrero card. So this is the one commemorating his first career hit in his MLB debut. So I actually picked up 5 of those. They all came in the same package. So I'm probably gonna keep one for the collection. One of them will probably go to a buddy of mine, and a few of these will probably go to PSA at some point. I'm not really sure if long term they're going to do very much, but at the same time, I thought it was kind of cool to have technically the first real kind of major league-ish card. This isn't really a rookie card in my opinion, but it is kind of neat. Now it's funny because I'm not the only one who had this idea. So I ended up picking up 5 of them myself, and I think this one ended up breaking the record. I think there's over 19,000 of these floating around. So not exactly a rare find, but I guess depending on how Vladimir Guerrero does going forward, that might be enough to meet demand depending on what ends up happening. So if the hype kind of continues in the long run, we'll see, because there's a lot of hype at this point, then we're going to see if that's enough to sustain it. And at the same time, highly graded examples. The truth is, though, they should be pretty highly graded, especially since they came straight from Topps. So all of those seem to be fine to me. I didn't see any major flaws in them, but we're going to see. Once I send them in, I'll kind of see if I end up with a bunch of 9s, then we'll know. Then we'll know the quality control wasn't quite on par. But I will take a closer look at them. So that was really my only pickup for the week. Otherwise, the rest of the next week might have a couple of pickups. It's really going to depend on how a couple of eBay lots came in. The recent quiet as far as the mail has kind of given me an opportunity to sit back, especially after the Spring Expo. I was able to sit back and kind of reevaluate where I was, because I was finding myself working on a lot of projects. So I actually sat down and wrote it down, which, by the way, I think is actually a good idea if you're collecting from time to time, especially if you're focused on one project, then it's easy. Then you know exactly what you're up to. But if you kind of have varied interests and it kind of skips around, or if you have different types of collections like I do, sometimes it's good to sit down and go, okay, what am I actually working on right now? And I realized I was working on basically 20 projects, which is way too much. Not only because it kind of stretches your dollars. There's only so many dollars to go around. Reality is, if you have that many going on, then really what you're looking at is you will always be able to find something, which is kind of cool, because then there's always stuff. Then there's always stuff coming in, because getting mail is fun. But at the same time, it's you end up basically chipping away at a bunch of different projects and then not really making any real headway on any of them, which is a little discouraging, because you'll see these numbers slowly decrease, but at the same time it's moving ever so slowly. It's a little easier if you streamline it a little bit. So I ended up doing that for myself. So I took it down from 20 big projects, a lot of stuff. I've got it down to 8, which is still a lot, but I'm gonna actually go through what I've got right now. So I ended up writing it down and breaking it down a little bit more. So as far as modern cards are concerned, I'm still working on the Jamie Benn collection. Originally, it was supposed to be just Jamie Benn 2009, 2010 rookie cards. So I kind of went ham at the end of last year during the holiday season and the New Year. And I ended up completely finishing that set quickly. And the truth is, you can do it fairly quickly if the right cards come up for sale, which I was fortunate enough, I guess, that they did. But at the same time, basically, if you throw money at the problem. And that's with a lot of these different collections, is that, especially with modern stuff, almost everything, unless it's like a one-of-one or something extremely limited, almost everything can be found. It's just, are you willing to throw enough money at the problem? Are you willing to basically overpay? If you overpay, you can have it now. If you're willing to be a little bit patient, then you can save a little bit of money. I did overpay on a couple of them, to be honest, but at the same time, I was trying to put together that set quickly. And then I took the original idea of just the rookie cards and I expanded it a little bit. And my mail days have reflected that. I expanded it a little bit to talk about cards from his rookie year. And once I took out the one-of-ones and the extremely limited ones that I didn't really want to include as part of my list, I ended up with 100 cards. So actually, that's attainable. That's not ridiculous. So the rookie cards are done, but now we're talking about the parallels and inserts, and a lot of them are kind of autographed inserts, especially autographed patches and things like that. Fairly limited stuff, not inexpensive. So progress is going to move, quickly at first, which is what ended up happening, and then now it's slowed down a fair bit. So right now I can tell you, and I'll put on the screen some of these numbers. I have 57 out of the 100 cards on that list, so I have on 43 to go. So my goal actually by the end of the year, so I wanted to make these all year-end goals, so these are the ones I'm talking about. By the end of the year, my goal is to get to 60, which doesn't sound like a lot, but as I said, a lot of these cards are a little bit more on the expensive side, so it's not like in theory, I could go and get 2 or 3 of these a week, you know, if I was just willing to keep throwing money at the problem. But I have other projects I want to work on and also other things I want to save money for. So you don't want to just spend all your money on one hobby and then not have money for bills and anything else. I think that's a good enough. To get to 60 by the end of the year, I'd be satisfied with that. And then in 2020, we'll kind of reevaluate where we want to get to. Probably we'll shoot for 70 or 75 and then so on and so forth. But for this year, I think 3 more is good, and then I'll be happy with that. Second modern collection goal right now is going to be my Mike Modano certified autograph cards. So this is the one that I'm going to be a little more aggressive with because I have kind of the goal in mind. I want to get to 100 different Mike Modano certified autographs. So the good news for this one is there's plenty of availability, and they don't have to be super expensive. I actually have, right now I have 82. So that'd be 18 by the end of the year. And I can tell you right now that I have some that I've already purchased on eBay recently, and I was able to get some pretty good deals on them. So those are going to be some of the cards that are going to be in the upcoming mail days. If you see Mike Modano certified autographs, that's where these are coming from. And right now, the most recent Leaf Ultimate series has been the source of a lot of these because you can get a lot of good Modano autograph. Because it's an unlicensed product, there's a lot of good certified autograph Modanos. And I know they're good because I have enough autographs at this point that you can tell. And at the same time, that allows them to be fairly inexpensive, considering a lot of them are very low numbered. And probably in the next mail day or two, you'll get a little bit of a sense of that, and I'll show a little bit of that. And also for variety, one quick note for the channel as well. I'm going to be in front of the camera a little bit more for the upcoming pickup videos going forward, because even though doing the overhead shot or just the overhead shot is easy for me, I can just turn on the camera and record, it's kind of boring. So I do want to make it a little more interesting and at least talk a little bit through the cards a little bit. The only thing I got to figure out is the glare situation. Obviously, I got the light right there. So when I was showing the card, it makes it a little bit tricky to, you can see that. I don't know if that helped at all. Yeah, you got that glare going on there. So I'm going to try to figure that out, but we'll be fine for today. The next one that I want to work on is going to be, I've been starting to put together a little bit of a Carlos Delgado collection. Again, I'm trying to narrow my focus a little bit. So the first one was the Jamie Benn collection, then the Modano collection, and now we're talking about the Carlos Delgado collection. Now the Carlos Delgado one, where I've been getting some cards, especially during the expo, I picked up a couple of nice limited cards for that. This one is a little bit more open-ended. For this one, I'm keeping it simple. This is actually going to keep the cost down on this one a little bit as well, because right now I'm just getting Carlos Delgado cards in general. If I can get an autograph card or a nice memorabilia card or something, that's cool. But really, I'm just trying to get to 100 unique cards. So right now, I don't have the number in front of me. I think I'm probably somewhere in the low 40s, 30s or 40s. So probably about 60 cards, which sounds like a lot. But the truth is, I'm going to pick up a bunch from COMC and some of the cool base cards and kind of inexpensive inserts, because there's a lot of stuff from the 90s that I didn't get a chance to really collect originally, which I can kind of do through that Delgado set. It's also going to give me kind of a chance to make the mail day a little more interesting, because even though the cards aren't high value, it's kind of cool to go back and look at some of the inserts that came out during that time, and Delgado was in a lot of those sets. So that's going to be kind of a fun way of adding a little element to it while keeping the expenses down a little bit on that particular collection. So just getting to 100 unique cards right now for that one, that'll keep it interesting for the rest of the year and give me little things I can pick up. And I can tell you I've got 5 in COMC right now. Inexpensive stuff, but ones that will get sent over in the next shipment. And I do have another COMC order coming, which will add to some of these other sets, including some of the projects I was working on before I narrowed this focus. I'm still going to put them in with the rest of those sets and things that I'm working on, but they're going to be on the back burner until probably the end of the year. So the next one that I'm going to do is that I've been working on is the 2018 Topps Chrome UFC Auto. So if I'm looking down at my list. UFC autographs. So the 2018 Topps Chrome set is one that I really like. So I've been a big fan of the UFC for years. And this is the first time I actually decided to collect some of the sets. So the next 3 are all related to that. So the one I'm talking about specifically is the autographs. So they look like this. Hopefully, let's see if I can get the focus on that a little bit better. There you go. So that's an Amanda Nunes autograph. They're kind of cool because they basically have a refractor design to go along with the autograph. Nice looking cards. Basically the same as the base card, but with the autograph on it. And you see I got Dominic Cruz, Uriah Faber. There's some good names on here. There's some good people. Chloe De Gea. There you go. Some good shots. So right now, I've got a handful here in person at the moment. I think about 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. So a couple of them here. I've got a couple coming in that COMC order I was talking about. So in total right now, I've got 19. So there are 33 in the set. So I've got 19 currently. So my goal by the end of the year is to get to 25. Now, why that doesn't seem incredibly aggressive. Part of the reason for that is because some of the ones that are missing, I've got a bunch of the star ones, but some of the ones that are missing are like George St. Pierre, Chuck Liddell, just trying to think who was one of the other ones. I'll have to look at my list, but there are some champions and some more expensive and more limited ones that seem to be there. Cain Velasquez, that's another one. So out of the ones that are left, even Ariane Celeste, so even something like that, those ones tend to go for a little bit more. So again, a little more on the expensive side. Like the Jamie Benn thing, there's less quantity, but the average quality brings the price up a little bit. So it's not like I can, but it would be very expensive to just go and go to eBay, just start hitting buy it nows. And some of them I actually haven't seen yet. Like the George St. Pierre one, I think I've seen one or two on eBay, but they've been sold already. And I don't know, I'm keeping an eye, but if I get one of them, it'll be like one or two at a time. So getting to 25 by the end of the year will be good, and that'll leave me with 8 more to finish off the set. The other 2 are kind of easy because I don't want to make it just all difficult ones. I want to complete the UFC base set for the Topps Chrome. I think I might just buy a complete set though. I originally wrote it on this list because I wanted to finish it off based on a couple of boxes I opened. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and go, it might just be easier just to buy a complete set for that one. So that one I might cheat a little bit and just take care of it that way. The other one though is kind of fun because I wanted to do that one. I also decided to do a set of the refractors. So right now I've got 27 out of the 100 cards in the set. I'd like to get to 50%. So again, very doable. I think you can get most of the refractors, even on COMC, for $1 or less. So it's not like it would require a lot to finish that off. So I can kind of throw that into maybe an existing order or two, and then get myself to that point. If I can get past 50, that'd be great. But I'm not worrying about it. 50 is the goal. Last 2 projects that I'm working on that I'm going to kind of narrow my focus a little bit down to. So the modern ones are the ones that I just outlined, but the last 2 are going to be vintage card projects. So I did finish my 1955 Bowman baseball card set, which is awesome. Spent a lot of years working on that one. So in that same vein, I want to work on the other one that I'm getting close on now. I'm at 82, just shy of 83% of the 1954 Bowman set. So 55, want to finish 54. So that means I need 39 more for the 54 Bowman. I'd like to get to 90%. Realistically, I think I can do better than that, but that's the goal for now. It's nice just to have goals that I'm pretty sure I can hit fairly easily, but it means that I'm not trying to be overly aggressive. It just lets me focus in on something. It lets me narrow it down. That way I'm not just going on eBay and going, oh, that's cool, hit. I'll buy that, and then I'll buy that. And it's a little bit more economically responsible doing it this way. So the last one that I want to work on is a hockey set. So the 1960-61 Parkhurst set. So I have a lot of the star players for that. And I actually sent a couple of them to PSA for grading, so hopefully that'll come back. I sent that off in the Spring Expo, so probably in the next month or 2. So that'll be a mail day coming up probably in June if I was going to guess. Maybe even July, but it just depends on what the turnaround time for PSA is. So right now I've got 15 of them. There's only 61 cards in the set. So I'm a little past a quarter of the way there if I'm doing my math right. No, just under a quarter, I think. But I do have another one coming in and an upgrade. So I'm trying to actually keep them in decent condition this one. So for the 60-61 Parkhurst, I want them to look nice, if possible. Not super high end, but at least decent. The goal is going to be to get to 50% by the end of the year. So that means for me, if there's 61 cards in the set, it means I'd like to get 31 cards, so I need 16 more. Even though I have one on the way, so that's going to be 15 more. So basically I need to double what I have right now, plus 1 more. Very doable. So that'd be 1 or 2 cards a month for the rest of the year. I think that's in range. So I think a lot of these goals are pretty reasonable. But I'm going to keep this sheet near me because it really gets tough to focus because the temptation is there to buy a lot of stuff. Especially once you start getting into the eBay box and it's like, oh, well, it's a little bit less expensive. It's like, yeah, it is, but if you save the money, then you'll have more. Especially in the Fall Expo, there's going to be an opportunity to really put a dent in a couple of these. So that's kind of what I like to do. So a little bit more of a talking video this time around. The next time I come on will be another pickup video. Hopefully the COMC order will come in the next couple of weeks. It does take a little while to ship. I did get free shipping this time around, which is awesome, but that means that I had almost 40 cards in the set. So it'll be a nice little mail day when that comes in. I do know some eBay stuff's coming in as well, so that's going to take a little bit while longer. So thanks if you stuck around to the end of the video. I appreciate it. It's mostly me talking out loud. This channel has really been a way for me to kind of track my exploits in the collecting, especially the last couple of years. And it's just to put it somewhere, just so that I can kind of keep track of the progress that I've been making. So thanks very much again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.